So you have such a broad spectrum of music that's out there. And what I really found out as I was digging deeper into your background and some of the artists that you worked with, the list is way too long to mention, but you have started careers of global superstars such as Lady Gaga, T-Pain, all through your record company, right?
Right, yep.
Tell us a little bit about that, because obviously you're putting all this music out and inspiring over here, but now you've trickled out like these tentacles, these musical tentacles, so to speak,
Right.
and now all of these other musicians are out there creating and inspiring and putting all this greatness out there. How do you feel about being the start of all that?
Oh man, I mean, you got to think, like, at the time when you actually do those things, you can't foresee the future, right?
Right.
But I kind of realized very early that I was more of a beacon, someone to pass through to get to the other side, very early. And I kind of built my career off building other people's careers. You know what I mean? Like, I got the satisfaction of knowing that I can take my resources and give it to you to get to that place, and just pray that you do the right thing with it when you get there, and be able to pass that on to someone else. Because I know how hard it was me trying to make it in America and trying to get in a position where someone would give me that extra hand. And I know how simple I thought how simple it was at that time, but now being in a position, it's even simpler than I thought it was. Because it's as simple as just helping. Like, it doesn't cost me nothing. It doesn't take away no time or energy for me to steer somebody in the right direction, or give them access to my studio to record, or introduce them to the right manager, or connect them to a record label to just hear them out. Like, these things, just simple phone call or just a simple gesture, right? So I noticed that, and then as I was coming up in the business, T-Pain was one of those kids that I looked at, kind of reminded me of myself. The kid was so talented in every direction you can imagine. And we kind of sounded very even similar. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, am I going to compete with this kid, or I'm just going to sign him and we rock the world together? I was like, you need to be on my team type of thing, you know what I mean? And with Lady Gaga, it was a different thing, because she was the kind of artist that was totally outside the box of what was happening at the time. So she needed someone that was willing to take a risk on her, because everyone was steering her in the direction where they think the industry was going and that would work for her. But none of that was actually her, because she was such a different type of artist, and she was such a game-changing artist. You had to literally create something custom for her to be able to shine and grow, right? And it didn't happen until we actually connected. And that's when I realized how big of a superstar she was gonna be, because I was able to see that in her. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when you go through that whole roster of artists that I helped to launch careers, like DJs like David Guetta, or DJ Khaled, for that matter, right? And then Black Coffee, who we needed as an African artist, like the David Guettas of the world that we can have. So these are all people that we played huge roles in helping launching them, growing them globally. You know what I mean? Then when you go into Africa itself, from the Wiz Kids of the world, and the D'Banjos of the world, and the Davidos of the world, and the P Squares of the world, like, we've been attached to so many things that God just allowed us to be a part of, that allowed us to be able to help fulfill, energy to the next level. Even when you come into the urban department of rap, from the Young Jeezys to the Young Thugs to the French Montanas the list can continue to go on all day on the impact of what we did. And if we wasn't attached to it directly, the music that we put out influenced them in a way to where they kept the convict music sound going for so long. To a point where after 2008, my official album, no one even realized that I had retired. No one realized that I wasn't even in the business, because my music was so attached to the culture that no matter where you went, you would hear me somewhere, whether it was in a strip club or the stadium or at the elevator or at the grocery store or in somebody's car or someone's playlist. We were somewhere, somehow involved, whether we was actually performing the record, or if we wrote it or produced it or signed it, somehow we were attached to it. And it's these things that give me all the satisfaction to know that whatever it is from the music perspective, I believe that I've achieved what I wanted to achieve in it. And the day when I was able to work with the legends, like the Michael Jacksons and the Quincy Jones and the Lionel Richies and the Whitney Houstons and the Madonnas, I was like, oh my goodness, I could die tomorrow and I'm happy. I've accomplished everything I ever wanted to accomplish in the music business. At this point, there's nothing else left for me to do but to now just offer opportunities to the next generation and give them the real, experience and give them the education so they can understand the business and give them the small tactics and things that I've learned throughout my travels and give them information so they can be able to guide themselves through the industry in a way to where they can actually be successful in it. So these are the things now that I get excited about, bringing in new blood and new energy.
I heard in one of your interviews too, you said, talent is talent, but I'll outwork the talent.
Period. You can find talented people on every street corner, but the work ethic is the difference between a star and a superstar. You can say whatever you want to say about Beyonce, whatever you want to say, but I don't know no chick that can outwork her. But when you mix hard work and talent, clearly you're going to be the biggest thing in the globe. Look at Michael Jackson. Hard work and talent. Nobody that I ever knew could outwork Michael Jackson. He wasn't getting off that stage until it was right. And just from the little experience I had for the tour that he was doing, the No Way Out, the This Is It, just those couple of months of rehearsal for a straight 50-date tour at the U2 and might have added more, everything was perfect to the exact T, and he wasn't leaving until it was that. If you don't have that kind of mentality, you can never be the biggest artist on the globe. But mind you, Mike also had influences. He had people that he pulled from. These guys were especially dance moves that people thought that Mike even created. He might have got it from somebody on the street corner, right? But he took it and made it his because of how he did it. And he never stopped. While the guy on the street corner might have gave up, Mike kept going. You understand what I'm saying? So the talent, man, you can find it everywhere. I used to always say the greatest basketball player on the globe is not Michael Jordan. He's probably in some park in New York City or Camden or what's his name, but he just don't have the drive that Mike had. He's not sitting up there shooting 1,000 free throws every night and losing sleep before every game, conditioning himself like Michael Jordan or Kobe did. That's the difference between them and everybody else. Talent is cool, but when you got talent and you got hard work combined, there's no stopping you. You're going to be the greatest of all times, 100% the GOAT.